Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone and Happy New Year! Welcome to the first Ask Rob and Rob of 2021. Woo, exciting! A lot of you have been getting your questions in, so we've got a sack full to go through. You think Santa's busy over Christmas? Well, New Year is a busy time for us. So thank you to everyone who's been getting their questions in. It's going to keep us busy, but let's make sure that continues by reminding you how you can get your question in to the show.
Yes, all you got to do is call 013 808 0035. That's 013 808 0035. Or you can go to propertyhub.net/ask instead. Either way, you'll be prompted to leave us a voicemail. You can get that question recorded and wing it our way. That's what Claudine did, so let's have a listen to her question.
Hi Rob and Rob, this is Claudine. I've been listening to your podcast for ages now. Well, it feels like ages. Plus I'm on my second purchase through Property Hub Invest, so thanks for all the great work. I'm also, as well as buying my second buy-to-let through the Property Hub Invest, I'm also upgrading my family home because we have one baby, another on the way. So we're basically buying a house twice the size of the one we've got. So I just wanted to ask your advice on it because we agreed a price of $975. And there's been a mortgage valuation that's come back as $835, and I know that mortgage valuations are very low at the moment, but I didn't expect it to be that low. Anyway, so I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I know about the mortgage valuations being downgraded, but it's a significant drop. If it was you, what kind of thought process you would both be having with that? Thanks very much.
Thank you, Claudine. I think this advice is universal for anybody who's remortgaging right now. And that is that you're going to have to expect random valuations. Now, I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should at all. But I think that's what we should expect, and therefore we need to accept. It's really difficult in this market for surveyors to value property. If there's a lack of transactions in your area, or if that particular surveyor is nervous about the market, which they could be, they are only humans. Now, they should be better than that, and they shouldn't let emotion come in to their valuations. But I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of valuations done over the years, and I can tell you that emotion absolutely does come into play. And I've seen some farcical valuations over the time. So an acceptance of the crazy world of valuations is key. But for the sake of balance and fairness, I am going to try and justify why this valuer may have downvalued your property. So I've already touched on lack of transactions in your area. The property market was quite buoyant in many parts of the UK the latter half of 2020, but maybe your area wasn't one of those areas. It's possible, who knows? It may be at that price point that your property is in London, an area that was, compared to others, struggling, so the surveyor may have been inclined to be cautious around the valuation for that reason. And neither of those could be valid, but the third one could be that as it's your own home, are you being emotional around your valuation of the property? Again, you could be quite rightly getting a bit cross with me now, but this isn't aimed just at you. This is at anybody who values their own home. We tend to, as humans, put the best case on our valuations when we look at our own homes, because we're incentivized to do so, because one, it makes us feel good, and two, it helps us release more capital. But a surveyor certainly doesn't have that emotion. In fact, as I've touched on, they're more emotionally inclined to go the other way. So who knows the exact reason for your down valuation? I've given multiple reasons why it could have happened, but I do think in this weird time that we live in, that the chances of you getting a surprisingly poor valuation have certainly increased. Let's hope as 2021 continues, the market settles down, surveyors get a little bit more confidence and more normal, I don't think they'll ever be normal the way things are currently done, but more normal valuations to resume from that point on.
Great answer there for Claudine. Let's see what we can do for our next caller, Stan.
Hi Rob and Rob, really appreciate all the content you put out there. I've learned a lot and it's allowed me to buy my first property. We've just had the search back for the one we're looking at, and it's shown that we are in an intermediate risk level for Radon. We're looking to buy with cash and remortgage further down the line. And I was just wondering if the Radon would affect who would lend to us and at what value. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the question, Stan. I'm really glad you asked it because it brings up a really important general point that goes beyond the issue of radon. When you're buying with cash, you can take a view on all manner of things that come up. So there could be something in the local searches or any of the environmental searches that your conveyancer flags up to you as a potential concern. And at that point, you can say, oh yeah, it's probably going to be fine, and go ahead with your purchase. The risk is that then if you want to get a mortgage on that property down the line, or even if you don't but you want to sell it in the future to a buyer who wants a mortgage, that lender is not necessarily going to come to the same view you are and be so relaxed about it, so they might be unwilling to lend. So you're doing exactly the right thing here, Stan, by thinking about this now rather than just blindly going ahead with the purchase. And it is a difficult one because when you've got a lender in the picture, it does slow conveyancing down. It does make it annoying. They do start raising all kinds of questions, but it does at least force the issue on anything where there is a potential concern. In the case of radon levels specifically, annoyingly, I don't have an exact answer for you. The issue is that you'll have got a search done that hasn't actually measured the level of radon. It's just that based on some algorithm that's been put together to do with concentrations in the area and historically and things like that, put it into a band and it's decided that it's intermediate. It may be that if you went and measured it properly, there would be a problem or there wouldn't. But you don't know, and you're not realistically going to be able to find out because testing for it properly involves measuring constantly for a number of weeks. So what should you do? The best I could offer you is to speak to a mortgage broker. Even though you're not planning on using a mortgage for this purchase, hopefully you've got a broker who you've worked with in the past or who you're planning on working with when it comes to your eventual remortgage. Speak to them and see what their advice is. If you're working with a broker who specialises in conveyancing and particularly buy-to-let conveyancing, they should have seen hundreds or thousands of past transactions, so they will have seen this come up before and they'll have a sense of which lenders it's an issue for. Now, that's never going to give you certainty, because it's impossible to know how lenders are going to behave until this case is put in front of them. And it even changes over time depending on how keen they are to do the business. So you can't be sure, but you should at least get more information from that process, which you can then use to make your own decision about whether it's a risk you're willing to take on or not. It is an annoying one. It's better when something comes back and there's an absolute no in there and you just know you can't possibly take it any further. When you've got something which is a maybe, it is more difficult. But hopefully, Stan, if you go and speak to your lender and speak to your conveyancer as well, because they see a lot of transactions and they'll have seen how lenders think about these things, that'll give you the information you need to make your choice. So good luck.
Good luck indeed. Well, we've officially kicked off the year of Ask Rob and Rob. I'm looking forward to all your questions coming in over the weeks ahead. Remember, give us a call or jump on our website if you want to get your question in. We'll be back on Thursday with the Property Podcast. And yes, back this time next week with more of your questions. So until then, take care, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.